get something else set up here. All right. Got that going. All right. They should be live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. All right. I think we're up and running. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Okay, let me just see if this works. Let's close that out real quickly. And let's see if that works. Yes, it does. Alrighty. Alrighty. I think I got all the technical stuff out of the way. Hello, hello. Okay, I think we're good. Alrighty. So we are going to start. The idea, the concept tonight is compound my cash flow, how to build wealth and passive income by earning interest on 100% of your income even after you spend it. Now, keep in mind, this is not for everyone. Not everyone's going to be able to financially be able to do it. Not everyone's going to qualify to do it. So this is not for everyone, but I would say for the people that it is for, it could possibly be a way to enhance what you're currently doing in the area of passive income or retirement. So this is not a one size fit all. It's not supposed to be for everybody, but it could possibly be right for you. And kind of what I'm about is just putting myself out there, putting my ideas out there. And if my ideas are in line with your ideas, then I'd encourage you to reach out to me. You can text the word compound to 847-716-2388. That's how you can connect with me. Again, if this is something that might be something that you could possibly be interested in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at our first slide here. So I got a series of slides. And so we're talking about being a complete compounder. So traditional way of thinking, the way that that everybody pays their bills, right, is the money comes in and then the expenses go out and whatever is left over is saved, right? That's the traditional path, okay? The compounder's path is a little bit different. The compounder's path, the money comes in, that money is put into assets, and then using OPM, other people's money, to pay expenses, right? So traditionally, money comes in, bills are paid, and whatever's left over is invested. And for most people right now, especially a lot of people that I've been talking to, inflation is crazy. People are getting crunched, and they don't have a ton of additional disposable income at the end of the month, right? So when somebody says, "Hey, could you, save $1,000 a month?" Not many people can right now, right? So I'm going to show you a possible way that you could earn interest, uninterrupted compound interest on expenses, on money that's already going to be spent in your household with very little additional funds on top of that. Okay, let me just check over here on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Let me see here. We might have some questions. Hold on one sec. Mernita Ramiro. Hey, Mernita, thanks for asking. I hope that you were listening. We're talking about compounding your cash flow, building wealth and passive income by earning interest on 100% of your income, even after you spend it. So if any point throughout this conversation, what we're talking about or what I'm talking about is, could possibly vibe with you, or, something you might be interested in, and it may not work for you. It may not be the right time. It may not be the right amounts. There's a lot of things that go into this, but if you want to learn more and, have a one-on-one conversation with me, you can text the word compound to 847-716-2388. The number's there on the screen for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Text the word compound to 847-716-2388. Renita, if you can type a 1 in the comments, if you can hear me there. All right. So if you're on TikTok, let's move on to the next screen here. All right. So, okay, so there's the traditional path and the compounder's path. So let's take a look at a possible scenario, right? Let's say that you are somebody that is faithfully contributing to your Roth IRA, right? So let's say that you are a Roth IRA all day long, okay? Well, I'm going to show you a way that you could double dip on compound interest with the money that you were going to put into your Roth anyway, okay? All right. So let me get, I'm new to being live here, guys. So I'm trying to make sure that all the platforms have the right feed. I'm switching over to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Let me get the right slides up here. So we got the traditional path. Money comes in, expenses go out, the remaining is saved. The compounder's path is money comes in, put into assets, and then using other people's money to pay expenses. All right. So if you switch the way that you pay your bills, you could possibly generate income, retirement passive income on money that was already going to be spent, right? So we're not trying to take an extra $2,000 a month to create a retirement plan. These are on dollars that you are already planning to spend. Okay. If you could do me a solid here too, if this makes sense so far, what I'm talking about, type a 1 in the comments. If it makes absolute no sense and I haven't explained things properly, then type a 2 in the comments. All right. So type a 1 if this makes sense. Type a 2 if this sounds crazy. All right. So here we go. I'm going to give you an example, right? And so this example assumes you have a 30-year-old person who is maxing out their Roth IRA. Okay. They're putting $7,000 a year into their IRA. And let's pretend they do that until they're age 65. Okay. What that would look like, okay, if you did that, right? And again, this is not investment advice. I use a calculator here, investment calculator to determine these possible results. If you put $7,000 per year into a Roth IRA and you got an estimated, on average, 10% rate of return, in the next 35 years, your Roth IRA is projected to have $1.582 million of account value. Okay. Let me switch slides here on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure that everybody's following along. Okay, so you can see that. Alrighty. Now, what I'm saying is go ahead and keep doing that. If you're taking $7,000 out of your bank account and funding a Roth IRA every year, right, you're going to accumulate an estimated 1.5 million of account value, and using the 4% rule, which is the kind of the standard traditional Wall Street rule, that you can withdraw approximately 4% of your account value every year in retirement. Okay, so if you have a 1.582 million in your account value, at 4%, that's about $63,000 of tax-free income per year. Again, that's in your Roth IRA, which is about $5,275 a month in tax-free spendable income when you're 65. Okay, again, these are estimates based on investment calculator and the 4% rule. Okay, type a 1 in the comments if that makes sense. So 7,000 into your Roth IRA. We're not doing anything special here. This is something that most people are probably already doing anyway. Okay. So what I'm saying is, what if you did it slightly differently? Instead of going from your bank directly to the Roth IRA, what if the money went from your bank into an asset first and then into your IRA? Okay. Type a 1 in the comments if this makes sense. Type a 2 in the comments if it doesn't, or if you have a specific question, let me know. Again, my name is Dominic, and none of my clients will lose money in the stock market this year. If you want to connect further with me, you can text the word compound to 847-716-2388. That'll just connect me and you. You'll get a link to my calendar. We can have a conversation. It could be a 10-minute conversation. It could be an hour. Again, if you want to connect further and learn more. Okay, so what I'm saying again is, what if you put the money from your bank into an asset and then into the Roth IRA? Okay, so, oops, I think I went to the wrong slide there. We're missing slide 4. Okay, we're missing a slide, but that's okay. Growing pains, right? Let me go over to Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Or Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You do me a favor, if type in the comments what platform you're watching this on, because I'm streaming this to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So type in the comments which platform you're watching it on. Okay. All right. So what I'm saying then is, if you put the money from your bank into an asset first, and then eventually it did make its way to the Roth IRA, inside the asset, okay, we're putting an extra about 10% of the amount. So 7,000 is going into your Roth IRA. So we would put an extra 10%, so about 7,700 from your bank account into the asset. Okay. So that 700, the extra funds, that stays into the asset, and the 7,000 is collateral for a loan to then put into your Roth IRA. So money in your bank going into the asset, taking a loan and putting that into your IRA. So the end result is you still have $7,000 a year into your IRA from age 30 to 65 at an estimated 10% average, 1.5 million of account value. Using the 4% rule, you would be able to use approximately $5,200 a month in tax-free spendable income in retirement at the age of 65. Okay. Again, type 1 in the comments if that makes sense. Type 2 in the comments if you need me to explain that again. Okay. All right. So what would happen if you did that? Okay. So if you made a pit stop into the asset, okay, what is the asset going to do when you put those funds in there and then take a loan against it to put into the Roth? Okay. So again, this is an estimate, right? This is a hypothetical situation, and this is not investment advice. $7,000 that you used as collateral would remain in the asset, and it would grow at approximately 1 to 3% per year. Okay. The 700 of additional funds, remember we put about 10% above and beyond the Roth IRA amount, would grow at approximately 6 to 8%. Okay. So the asset that your funds take a pit stop into before going to the Roth IRA would accumulate an estimated $408,000 over the next 35 years. Okay. So by changing the way that you fund the Roth IRA, going from your bank account directly to the Roth, or from your bank account to the asset to the Roth, By putting it into the asset first and then borrowing against it, you could potentially earn an additional $408,000 of account value. Okay. Um, at an approximate 10% usage, that would be an additional $40,000 estimated per year of tax-free spendable income. Okay. So that would be an additional approximately $3,400 a month of spendable income. So if you think about that, you're already going to do 7,000 into your Roth IRA, which is already projected to grow to 1.5 million or so, right? And about 5,000 a month in tax-free spendable income. But if you did it this way, by making a pit stop into this asset here in the middle, you could potentially earn an additional $3,400 per month in tax-free spendable income. All right. So almost doubling the output in this scenario. 5,000 from your Roth, let's say 3,000 from the asset. Now you're at about 8,000 spendable income. You add another 2, 3, or 4,000 from Social Security. You're sitting there at about 10 to 12,000 a month in spendable income in retirement. Now, keep in mind, at the age of 65, your dollar is probably about half its purchasing power. So 12,000 a month, at that point in time is about 6,000 a month, give or take, in today's dollars, right? And this is just doing the Roth IRA and the pit stop into the asset. All right. Anyone have any questions at this point? I would also just remind you that this is not for everyone. This is not an only strategy. I'm not saying that everyone should do this. I'm not saying that this is the only strategy that you should employ. This is just to enhance what you're currently doing. Okay, I'm just using the Roth IRA as an example at this point. Okay, again, just using the Roth IRA as an example. All right. Okay. The truth is there are many ways to get from A to B. And when I say A to B, I'm talking about where you're currently at with, where you want to be, okay, with respect to retirement income planning. So if anything I said here resonated with you or you want to dig deeper, have a conversation with me, you can text the word compound to 847-716-2388. What that'll do is just connect me and you. You'll get a text reply with my calendar link, and you can pick a day and time on my calendar, schedule a call to discuss your situation. In that conversation, we'll talk about your fears, your concerns, your goals, your dreams, any barriers that could possibly be there, and any questions that you have. Additionally, we will discuss in greater detail the compounder strategy. We could build your plan and get you about a 15-page PDF report that explains in detail the compounder strategy. Okay. Now, if that makes sense after the call, we could possibly schedule a second call to discuss things further. Okay. Let me show you what that report would look like. So if you're on TikTok, I'm about to just share my screen here. That's the calculator. Let me flip over here. This is just a test case scenario. Compound my cash flow, build wealth and passive income by earning interest on 100% of your income even after you spend it. So this is a PDF. There I am, Dominic Franchi. This is just a PDF. It's about a 16-page report that if we had a one-on-one conversation, I would generate one of these reports for you, along with the illustration of the asset we're talking about here. Okay. So as you see there, passive income, 40,875. That is tax-free spendable retirement income, estimated by the calculator. So this is the report here that talks about the strategy of complete compounding, the traditional path and the compounder's path. The asset in this case is cash value life insurance, right? So We're talking max funded IUL. And the reason we use the asset of life insurance is for the tax-free growth and accessibility of the life insurance, safe and predictable returns, and the guaranteed loans. Okay, so you would get a full PDF with the explanation of how the strategy works. And if you see here, also, not just talking about all the good stuff, right? The constraints, right? How to qualify, accessibility in year one, filling the tank with gas. This whole PDF explains everything. And this scenario that I did discusses just the small amount of, the annual expense of the Roth IRA, right? This is an example for somebody who's already funding a Roth IRA. And if you decided to learn more and possibly implement this strategy with me, you could potentially earn an additional $40,875 of tax-free, passive, spendable retirement income on top of what your Roth IRA is already going to produce. Right? I'm not an investment advisor, so your investment into your Roth IRA would be on your own. Most people just choose index funds, low-cost index funds. We could have a conversation about that, but I'm not an investment advisor, right? Okay. So again, you can get this IUL growth simulation PDF, which explains the details and shows all the numbers. And again, this is a hypothetical situation based on variables that we can't guarantee are going to be accurate or come through, right? These are estimations. The actual numbers would be on the illustration itself. If you do an application, that would all be disclosed on a NAIC approved illustration by the insurance company. So this does not represent any specific IUL or company. Okay. Alrighty. Any questions? Type them in the chat there. Let me flip over to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Anybody have any questions? Type them in the comments. Okay. Let me switch over. All right. Plus two, here's just a quick look at the calculator itself. If we had a one-on-one meeting, I could run your numbers here in the calculator based on your age, projected age at retirement, the amount that you, in this case, we talk about an annual expense that you're already spending. So we're not using any additional brand new money. Most people say, well, I can't save for retirement because I don't have any additional funds available. What I'm proposing and what we would discuss is the possibility of using funds that are already being spent by you, right? Most people have $4,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month in monthly bills, right? So there's a way that you can capture uninterrupted compound interest on all of the money that you spend, right? And again, not everybody's going to qualify. Not everybody has the capacity to do so. But if you're already spending $4,000 a month on, rent or mortgage, car payments, insurance, food, cell phone, I can show you how to earn uninterrupted compound interest on those dollars that you're already spending, not an additional $1,000, $2,000, or $3,000 a month that's going to take 30 years to retire on, right? And quite honestly, most people can't afford right now, right? Again, if you have any questions for me, type them in the comments. Okay. If you want to have a conversation with me, there's many ways that you can get from A to B. Again, A is where you're currently at. B is where you want to be at. Text the word compound to 847-716-2388. You can schedule a call and discuss your situation with me. We can discuss your fears, concerns, goals, dreams, barriers, and questions that you have. Share the compounder strategy, build your plan, get your report, and if it makes sense, schedule a second call to discuss more. Alrighty. Once again, this is not for everybody. This is not just the end-all, be-all. This is a strategy to enhance what you're currently doing. Again, if you are already funding a Roth IRA, this could show you how you could potentially earn, another 50 to 60% of additional retirement income. So if your Roth IRA is projected to grow, actually, I'll just go back to the Roth numbers. So I'm going to go back to the Roth numbers here. I'm switching over on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm backing the screen up a little bit here. And let me do the same on TikTok. Right. So if you were somebody who is, age 30, putting $7,000 a year into your Roth IRA anyway, the end result is you're still putting $7,000 a month into your Roth IRA. And using just a general investment calculator, from the internet, using an assumptive, 10% rate of return average. That's about the average rate of return the S&P 500 has, had over the last several years. Your Roth IRA over the next 35 years, maxing it out, could, potentially grow to about 1.5 million. Using the standard 4% rule, of retirement planning, which again, I don't really agree with the 4% rule. There's better ways to increase your spendable income. But, if we're just doing Roth IRA, that projection is about $5,200 a month in tax-free spendable income by the time you're 65. But if you made a pit stop and purchased an asset first and then borrowed against that asset, it could potentially earn an additional $3,400 a month in tax-free spendable income. So you're above 50% additional income in retirement. And again, this is not intended to be investment advice. There's a lot more to this. So if you want to have a conversation with me about how we could help you achieve that, you can text the word compound to 847-716-2388. Again, my name is Dominic. I'm an independent life insurance agent. My company is called Heritage Life Solutions. You can schedule a call to discuss with me your situation. We can discuss, what you might have concerns about what I'm talking about. This is not for everybody. It takes understanding. It takes commitment to implementing. We can discuss your goals and dreams, what possible barriers might be, and why this couldn't, work for you for whatever reason. Answer any questions and discuss with you the compounder strategy, build your plan, and get your report. And then if you feel that it makes sense to schedule a second call to discuss things further, at the end of that call, we could figure out whether it makes sense or not. Okay. All righty. Let me switch over back to Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Any questions over here? Type a 1 in the comments. If you are picking up what I'm putting down, type a 2 if you think I am absolutely crazy and this makes no sense. All right. So let's look at here just what it means to be a complete compounder. Okay. Once again, this is not for everybody. This is for people that are committed to their financial futures and creating, large amounts of tax-free passives, spendable retirement income. All right. So this is how you build wealth and passive income by earning interest on 100% of your income, even after you spend it. Okay. So looking at the traditional way of spending, if you will, the money comes in, expenses go out, and the remaining is saved. Okay. I'm proposing the possibility of doing it a different way, which is the money comes in and then put into assets, and we borrow against those assets to pay your expenses. By doing so, we're capturing compound interest on money that was already going to be leaving your account to pay your bills anyway. Okay. So here's just an example, and this example is provided in the PDF that I would give you at a one-on-one meeting. So if you text the word compound to 847-716-2388 and get on my schedule, you wouldn't be directed to, a hierarchy of agents. You would talk to me personally. So if you like the way that I am, the way I present myself, you might look at me and be like, oh, this guy's cool. Or you might be like, dude, this guy sucks. That's totally fine. If you are, understanding what I'm saying and you want to have a conversation with me, I'm happy to do so. Text the word compound to 847-716-2388. Let me switch back to Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So we're talking about becoming a complete compounder. Okay. So becoming a complete compounder is not easy. And again, this is not for everybody. It takes qualifying, it takes commitment, it takes understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Okay. To become a complete compounder, let's say that you earn or bring in about $100,000 per year. The complete compounder strategy is assuming that you take the $100,000 of your take home income, putting it into the IUL, and then using the IUL to borrow against and pay your $80,000 of expenses. Okay, that's what that's the way a complete compounder looks. That's if you have the financial capabilities to do so, qualify, and it makes sense for you. Okay, now you can become a partial compounder, right? You don't have to use the whole of your finances. So that's why I gave the example earlier of saving money. If you chose to do this with just your Roth IRA, and I'm going to show an example here in a moment about how you could use this strategy to pay your mortgage expense, right? And how that would create more tax-free spendable income for you in retirement. Okay. So up on my screen right now, you have just that example of 100,000 comes in, 100,000 goes into the IUL, and 80,000 goes to pay your expenses, and what that looks like. Okay, so if you did something like that, and again, this is I'm just going to say the disclaimer here. This example is simplified of how we can structure the expense program using an IUL, and it's for educational purpose only. This does not take into this image that I'm showing you right now does not take into account growth or insurance design implementation. It doesn't assume a specific company or product. This is just a general concept and explanation. Okay, so 100,000 comes in, 100,000 goes into the IUL. You use loan against the 100,000 to pay your expenses, and then at the end you have 20,000 left in the account, earning the full interest credit of the IUL. Right? Let's just say, for example, there's a 0% floor and a 10% cap. So in that scenario, 20,000 would be earning the full interest credit of 0 to 10%, which on average is about 6 to 8% per year. Long-term S&P 500, that's kind of what you're looking at. Okay. The loan balance of 80,000, that's kind of what you'd call like your collateral for your loan. That would be part of the index loan feature in an IUL. So that 80,000 also it's actually still in your account. You're taking a loan against that value. And so that 80,000 also grows at that 0 to 10% on average, 6 to 8% per year, minus the cost of the loan, which is about 4 to 6% on average. Most places right now are around 5%. So effectively, if you could borrow at 4 to 6 and earn 6 to 8, that 80,000 could potentially be earning about 2% per year. So that 80,000 was going to go pay your bills anyway, but by putting it inside the IUL, could be earning uninterrupted compound interest on average in the neighborhood of 2% per year, based on this hypothetical illustration, hypothetical estimation. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of what becoming a complete compounder looks like. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Does that make sense? Does that sound silly? Do you think I'm crazy? Type a 1 in the comment if you think I'm crazy. Type a 5 in the comment if it makes sense. All right. So I'm going to take a look at, let's look at a different example now. Let's take a look at what becoming a, if you were to use this to compound your mortgage. Okay. So I'm loading up a screen here. Okay. Once again, my name is Dominic. Tonight we're discussing how to compound your cash flow, how to build wealth and passive income by earning interest on 100% of your income even after you spend it. Making sure my mic's still working. Any questions, type them in the comments if you're watching on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. I'm also live on TikTok. Okay. All right. Let me go over to Instagram. Okay. Computer's lagging a little bit, so forgive me for a sec. Let me switch over to Mortgage Compounder here on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Let's get the first slide going. Okay. If you're on TikTok, let me go ahead and get that slide going. Okay. So again, we're talking about becoming a compounder. In this scenario, we're going to be using your mortgage expense. So you're already going to pay your mortgage. I don't know about you guys. I don't have a huge mortgage. My mortgage is about $1,900 a month. Okay. So the average mortgage is somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,500 a month. So that's the number that I used in this scenario. Okay. So the normal person, their money comes in, right? And they pay their bills. And if there is anything left over, they save. So you see here, the traditional plan, money comes in, expenses go out, and the remaining is saved. That's the traditional path. Okay. The compounder's path is a little bit different. Money comes in, that money is invested into assets. And again, this is a general concept at this point, just talking concepts and education here. And using that asset, borrowing against that asset, that's why we see OPM, other people's money, pays expenses. Okay, so if you did this with a scenario of a 35-year-old with a $2,500 monthly mortgage payment for the next 30 years, okay? So the standard scenario is, if you can see on the screen here, you have $2,500 a month in your bank account, and that money gets transferred over to your mortgage company. Your money is gone, and after 30 years, your house is paid off. Okay? Pretty standard scenario, pretty easy to understand, right? So $2,500 a month goes into your mortgage, or from your bank to the mortgage company, and at the end of 30 years, your mortgage is paid off. Okay? I'm not advocating that you don't pay off your mortgage, or some people want to pay it off faster. In this scenario, we're just saying you got a 30-year mortgage, $2,500 a month. It's a general concept. Money from your bank pays your mortgage, and you're done. Okay. What I'm saying is there is another path, and if you use this path, there's a way that you could potentially build large streams of passive income by using funds that you were already going to use to pay your mortgage. Okay. So in this scenario, money goes from your bank into the asset, and you can use any asset here, by the way. I personally recommend, again, if this makes sense, and it doesn't make sense for everybody, using an index universal life insurance that is max funded, properly designed, right? That's the asset of choice for me. You could use whatever asset you want in this case, from your bank to the asset, and then borrow against the asset to pay your mortgage. Now, the problem with the right asset is if you bought another property, it's not as easy to just take a loan out against any old asset. The reason why we use the max funded IUL is because it's a guaranteed loan. All you have to do is fund the plan, and you could have a guaranteed loan to then pay your mortgage. Okay. So in this scenario here, the money goes from your bank to the asset, and then you take a loan against the asset to cover the mortgage. So what that looks like, at the end of 30 years, your mortgage is still paid off. So I'm not advocating that you're not paying your mortgage. This is at the end of 30 years, your house is still paid off. But if you took that pit stop into the asset and used other people's money um, to pay off your home, right? You're going to be creating an additional income stream that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And so the way that looks like is on average, we take about 10% of the expense, right? And maybe I'm getting a little, this could be a little bit, too much detail for, kind of like a public setting. I could explain a little bit more, obviously, in a one-on-one setting. So if this is something that is of interest to you, text the word compound to 847-716-2388. My name is Dominic. You can schedule a call with me. We can discuss your situation, discuss goals, thoughts, dreams, fears, concerns, all that stuff. Take a look at your numbers, right? Whether it's something as small as the 7,000 a year into a Roth IRA, or 30,000 a year into a mortgage, or something much bigger, right? There's nothing too small or too big that we can't do. There aren't many, limits, if you will. Um, there are limits, but they're way higher than your traditional, Wall Street retirement plans and whatnot. So in this mortgage scenario, and again, this is a hypothetical situation for educational purposes. 2750 from your bank account goes into the asset. In this case, the asset is a max funded IUL. Now, for the purpose of this kind of image, all of the 2750 actually stays inside the IUL, but I kind of broke it up into two things. 2500 is used as collateral for a loan to then pay the monthly mortgage payment. 250 stays in there, and it's kind of like gas in your tank. It's like a little bit of padding so that the IUL has enough funds in there to sustain itself. Okay. So the end scenario is, if you did this for 30 years, your house is still paid off. All right. But by having those funds into the IUL, these are the projected results based on a hypothetical calculator, right? That the asset, in this case, the max funded IUL, used properly, designed properly, would generate an additional over $1 million in your cash value, right? So $250 per month that you'd be putting into the IUL that would not be used as collateral, that would grow at the full interest credit of the IUL, right? So give or take, on average, if you're using like an S&P 500 index, you're typically going to see about a 0% floor, meaning you can't lose money in the stock market, all right? Your money's not actually in the stock market. And typically these have a cap rate of around 10 to 12%. So for this example, we're using between a 6 to 8% growth, and then about a 4 to 6% cost of the loan. Okay. And if this doesn't make sense, feel free to type in the comments. Let me know if it's making sense, or if this is confusing. All right. I'm new to going live and explaining this, so I may not be as eloquent as I'd like to be. So I'm just human. I'm here to help. If I don't take criticism very well, but I'm willing to if you guys have questions. So I'm just getting the Instagram and Facebook and YouTube viewers up to speed. I was kind of behind on some slides, so sorry about that. So if you're on TikTok, I have the everything kind of up on the screen here. So the asset in the middle, so if your money goes from your bank to the asset and then borrowing against the asset to pay off the mortgage, what that could potentially produce for you in the span of those 30 years is an additional $1 million of liquid cash value. All right. And the way that it's structured and designed and used, you could withdraw or take an additional loan against, it's about a 10% usage per year. So if you have about $1 million inside of this asset and you used about $10,000, 10% per year, that's about $104,000 of tax-free spendable income in retirement, which is about, just divide that by 12, around $8,693 per month of tax-free spendable income. So what I'm saying here, and again, this is for educational purposes, this is a hypothetical illustration, can't guarantee these results, nor can anybody in the stock market or, other investment or retirement vehicles. So this is a hypothetical illustration, using certain variables, right? But ultimately, all I'm saying here is that if you were going to pay your mortgage anyway, your $2,500 a month is in your bank account and you pay your mortgage, that $2,500 is gone. Okay. And after 30 years, your house is paid off. So if you do it the traditional way, $2,500 a month from your bank into your mortgage, and at the end of 30 years, you have a house that's paid off and you have no additional income or revenue stream. There's no middle asset if you do it the traditional way. Okay. If you do it the compounder's way and you put your money from the bank to the asset, let's see here. We've detected inactivity during your current life. Let's see here. I got frozen here. If you are on TikTok, I think we've detected inactivity during the current live. Complete the verification. What verification? Hello? All right, if you're on TikTok, it looks like the live may have been somehow stopped. All right, and it says here there's if you're on YouTube, can you type in the comments? Just type a 7 in the comments if you can hear me on YouTube. I just want to make sure all the platforms are active and working. I don't know what's happening on TikTok. It's basically telling me that, like on my screen here, it says we've detected inactivity during your current live. Complete the verification to continue going live. I don't know what verification that is. It doesn't give me an option to click on anything. So forgive me, let me check my email and see if anything's going on there. Okay. Nope, I'm not seeing anything. Let me see. Yeah, I think TikTok is about to end my live stream in about 3 minutes. I can't change my slides. I can't do anything. It's like, I don't know what it is. Not sure. If you are on TikTok, can somebody type a 1 in the comments? Tell me if you can hear me or not. All right. Technical difficulties. Well, that was interesting. What is this live about? That was good. I like that. All right, TikTok. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do here. Well, if you are hearing me and you want to go deeper or learn more, text the word compound to 847-74. No, that's my office number. 847-716-2388. You can schedule a call with me. We can discuss your situation, dreams, goals, aspirations, thoughts, fears, concerns. I can show you a little bit more in greater detail how the compounder strategy works and how you can create an additional stream of tax-free retirement income without having to spend a ton of additional discretionary income, right? Using the money that was already going to be used to pay your bills, right? If you have $2,000 a month paying your bills, right? That money's already earmarked to go pay your cell phone, your grocery, your rent, your mortgage, whatever. I'm just proposing a new way of paying your bills by having a pit stop into an asset first and then using that asset to borrow against and pay your expenses, and how that could potentially create a large amount of passive tax-free retirement income in retirement. So for those of you that don't have a lot of additional discretionary income, this could be a way for you to catch up on retirement, by earning compound interest on, the expenses and the monthly bills that you already had. Okay. I think TikTok is going to kick me off in about 90 seconds. I don't know how to change that. I can't even close my TikTok stream. It won't even let me. So if you're on TikTok, I'm not sure if you can hear me at this point. El Oso joined on TikTok. That means the bear in Spanish, I think, right? El Oso. Dan Tangus. Dan Tangus. D Antangus or Dan D Tangus. Maybe Dan is his full name, T is his middle initial, no, D is his middle initial, and then Tangus. Dan D Tangus. All right, I don't know what's going on with TikTok. Sorry if you're watching on TikTok. I'm about to be kicked off. I think that's about my time. I've been live for about an hour, kind of learning here how to go live. To be honest, I was a little bit nervous, but now that I'm just kind of feel like I'm just talking to myself, I think that's okay. If you are, it says here there's some people on YouTube. Anybody that's on YouTube right now, if you can hear me, do you have any questions on YouTube? You can type them in the comments. Let me just see here. Okay, Facebook, YouTube. Ooh, I don't think Instagram is working. Is Instagram not working? Of course not. Yeah, my internet provider is just asking me questions now. Okay. It doesn't seem like there's any questions at this time. So again, my name is Dominic Franchi. I'm an independent life insurance agent. My corporation is called Heritage Life Solutions. And I want to help you build wealth and passive income by earning and capturing compound interest on 100% of the dollars that you make and spend. If you want to learn more, text the word compound to 847-716-2388, and I'll be happy to help and discuss. Again, this is Dominic. Thank you so much for signing in today. Live was discontinued due to inactivity. To avoid this, stay engaged with your viewers and allow notification live studio. Complete verification time. Okay. I don't know why that happened on TikTok. All right. If you are on YouTube or Facebook, again,